The best way to tell if you have a leak in your pool is to do a bucket test. In this video, we will go over the 3 best ways to do a bucket test. To perform a bucket test, you will only need a few things that you probably already have around the house. You'll need a 5-gallon bucket, a ruler or meter stick, some tape, this can be duct or painter's tape, a pen, preferably a ballpoint or a permanent marker, and a brick or large rock to weigh down the bucket. Before we get started, make sure that the weather will be clear and not rainy for at least the next 24 hours. And also, if you have an autofill in your pool, turn it off. Now you're ready to start the bucket test. First, fill up the bucket to about an inch away from the top and put the bucket on the first or second step of your pool. Put that brick or rock at the bottom of your bucket just to make sure it doesn't blow over or get knocked over. The first and most accurate method of the 3 methods is the yardstick method. Once the bucket is filled, stick the yardstick into your pool down until it hits the bottom of the step that your bucket is resting on. Mark with the pen exactly where the water line is on your yardstick. Next, do the same thing on the inside of the bucket. Dip the yardstick into the bucket until it hits the bottom. Then, mark where the water line is from the bucket with your pen on the ruler. Set the ruler somewhere dry and wait 24 hours. After 24 hours, go back to your bucket test and repeat this process. Dip the same yardstick back onto the first step of the pool and mark where the water level is now on the yardstick. Then, dip the yardstick back into the bucket and mark where the water level has dropped with your pen. This drop in the bucket represents your evaporation level. Last, compare the difference in both measurements. If the measurement from the pool is the same amount as the bucket measurement, then you do not have a leak. However, if the difference between the measurement from the pool markings is greater than the difference in the bucket measurement, you have a leak, and you need to call a professional to find it. The second and most used method is the tape method. Mark the water line of the pool by sticking a piece of tape to the outside of your bucket exactly at the level of the water. Do the same thing with the water line inside the bucket. Get as close to the water line as possible with your tape, as being as exact as you can will really help with the accuracy of this test. Next, wait 24 hours and return to the bucket test with a ruler. It is very important that you use a ruler here because exact measurements are extremely helpful to leak detection companies if you have a leak. With the ruler, measure the distance on the outside of the bucket from the bottom of your tape to the water line. Then do the same thing for the inside of the bucket. This measurement is your evaporation level. If the 2 measurements are the same, you don't have a leak. However, if the pool level measurement is larger than the bucket measurement, you have a leak. And the last way to measure is very similar to the tape method, except you will mark the water line with a marker or a pen. Mark the water line of the pool on the outside of the bucket with your pen at exactly the water level. Do the same thing with the water line on the inside of your bucket. Get as close to the water line as possible, as being as exact as possible, again, will really help with the accuracy of the test. Then wait 24 hours and return to the bucket test with a ruler. Remember, it is very important that you use a ruler here because exact measurements are extremely helpful to leak detection companies. With the ruler, measure the distance on the outside of the bucket from your original pen mark to the pool water level. Then do the same thing for the inside of the bucket. With the ruler, measure the distance from your pen mark on the inside of the bucket to the new water level. This is your evaporation level. If the two measurements are the same, you don't have a leak. However, if the pool level measurement on the outside of the bucket is larger than the inside of the bucket, you have a leak. And that's it. You now know 3 ways to check your pool to see if it is leaking. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this saves you a lot of money. And if you need any clarification, feel free to write in the comments.